Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6 of the League Zero Formula Series. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here today. 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we always do. Folks, I am excited to be here tonight, and it's going to be an excellent day here at the Okayama International Circuit. Again, here with League Zero for the Formula Series. And I got to say, it has been quite the season so far. It is still early in the League Zero Formula 3 season, but there has still been quite the battles to have been seen. If you have not seen those, go ahead and check out some of the previous battles that we've seen on the League Zero season here thus far. But heading into our starting grid, Finley Fitzsimmons and Reed Gibson going to be up in the front row here with Flo Doms and Raymond Aguilar going to be taking up a second row. Justin Sang and Micah Barnett going to be in our third row with Jaden Calloway and Kevin Burrows. Going to be in our fourth row. Max Wobbles, Jared Ziegler taking up our fifth row here tonight. Jack Mundy and Jared Davis going to be in our seventh row here tonight as we move ourselves down the grid. Taking a look in 15th and 16th is Felipe Sarkis and Michael Fairchild. Antonio Bianchi in 17th with Brad Tritton in 18th. David Schmidt, Donovan Johnston in 19th and 20th. Nick Terrell taking that 21st spot. Xavier Senevi, excuse me if I'm getting that incorrectly here, in 22nd. Felipe Ramos in 23rd. John Kasai in 24th. Peter Rittinger in 25th, Jay Burton taking 26th, and Ryan Thibault in 27th. That is going to be our starting grid for today. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our drivers here today as, well, they are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons off to a great start here as we head into turn number 1. Got to be careful here as you make your way through this section, as it is very easy to overdrive, especially on these colder tires. But Finley, Reed Gibson off to a battle here in the first place spot. Finley doing a very good job trying to keep on the defense, staying on the preferred line. Reed Gibson doing all that he can, and meanwhile, happening back in third place, Raymond Aguilar able to move himself up in Flo Doms. Micah Barnett going to be almost side by side as they come down the long straightaway. Heading into turns 5, 6, and 7 into the hairpin here, where drivers can really get themselves stacked up nice and deep, and consistency is going to be a key thing here for a lot of these drivers here today, as this is quite an easy track when you on paper, but once you get down to it, it's very easy to get complacent and comfortable and, again, overdrive your turns and just miss your marks. Very easy to get comfortable here at Okayama. But that's, I think, what makes it such a challenging track in of itself. But looking back here in 13th, we have Michael Fairchild doing a phenomenal job, just keeping it in the line here. Everyone giving each other quite a bit of space, quite a bit of room back here towards the midfield, if you will. And that's a good thing to see. We don't want to see drivers getting too aggressive too early on here in this 28-lap feature that we have here today. But so far, everyone up in the top 3 has done fairly well here. Only one spot being taken. That is Raymond Aguilar moving into that third place spot. But so far, oh, we got a driver off. Antonio Bianchi here as we get a look here from the blimp camera. Antonio going to try and correct himself, get back out on track here. He's going to fall back quite significantly here to 21st, down 4 spots from where he started at the beginning of this race. That's going to be not ideal here for the number 17 machine, as he tries to work his way around David Schmidt in the number 54. And seems to be able to do so quite easily here at this moment. Antonio Bianchi giving it all that he can here, and just a little bit too much, but it seems that we've got trouble here. You can see the smoke already as drivers getting themselves in a little bit of trouble here. Let's see if we can take a quick gander at what happened here to Xavier Seneve. Here in the number 12 machine, the green, oh, the 77 of Donovan Johnston gets a little bit too spicy there going into the hairpin and causes that collision. But The race stays green. Everyone's still moving and grooving and doing a phenomenal job here so far. Raymond Aguilar still in that third place spot, tracking down Reed Gibson in that number 11 machine. Going to see all that he can do here. Let's see if we can get a look on board with one of our drivers here and just get an idea of what it's like here on track. Let's ride on board here with Justin Sang here in the number 68 machine as we get a good look from the gyro camera just above the roll hoop here. Justin Sang trying to do everything that he can currently in this 6th place spot, tracking down Flo. And Flo going to give up that preferred line. Well, he's going to actually shut out the inside line, so actually putting himself in the advantage here, and Flo able to move out of the hairpin relatively easily here through 6 and 7. Which I gotta say, Okayama is definitely grown on me over my time on the iRacing service. It was one of the first tracks that I started on, and the more I race on it, the more I enjoy it. I think it is a great track. It's fun to drive on and not too challenging for the newcomer to the service if it's something that you haven't tried out before. But that was a look on board there with Justin Sang sitting in that 6th place spot currently. And let's take a look at some of the more high movers here in today's race, and that's going to be John Kasai in the number 3 machine that we see here, moving down across the checkered line and into turn 1 here. John Kasai has moved up 9 spots up into 15th, and I gotta say that is quite the performance here today. It's still in the midfield, but 9 spots is nothing to shy away at. So great work here from John Kasai and the team behind the number 3 machine. And speaking of teams, speaking of the Constructors' Championship, let's take a look and see exactly where that stands here at this moment. And right now in the top 3, it is Team Goon Squad, Team Runner-Ups, and Polo Rosso Racing, all standing in the top 3 here at this moment. And Team Goon Squad and Team Runner-Ups only separated by 2 points for those top 2 spots, as we have a little bit of action happening here with Felipe Sarkis. The number 4 seems to have gotten off track there just a little bit. Too busy looking at my notes to see all that is happening on the track, and frankly, there's quite a bit happening. And I gotta say, for the leaders at this moment, they're building themselves a little bit of a gap and starting to separate themselves from the rest of the field. And let's actually take a look here at some of the times that drivers are putting down here at this point in time in the race. And you can see that on your screens right now, what times drivers are currently putting in where they are respective to their teammates and competitors, if you will. But that is an idea of where they are time-wise. But let's take a look at the gap, and let's see where everyone is to the leader of Finley Fitzsimmons, who really is frankly starting to pull away from this field rather quickly and rather significantly. Reed Gibson sitting just about a second and a quarter behind Finley, not able to find that time at this moment. But really, again, Okayama is one of those tracks where consistency is going to be crucial. You have to be consistent every single lap, and one mistake can cost you a lot of time, which may seem like a fraction of a second, could mean the difference between keeping your position or losing it. But everyone doing so far so good, up in the top 10, if you will. But we got a driver, Felipe Sarkis. No, that is not. That is Brad Tritton. Gets himself a little bit loose, coming out of 7 onto that short straightaway, heading back into Redmond, turn 8. He's going to get himself corrected and back on track here. Looks like no harm, no foul there, luckily for Brad. But looking back up front here, just checking in with our leaders, seeing where everyone's at, how they're doing. Currently at the moment, no one has moved or really made any big moves at this moment up here in the top 3, and even looking a little bit further beyond that, not a whole lot has been happening here. We have Micah Barnett starting to close in on Raymond Aguilar for that 3rd place spot, but really just kind of trailing in and just trying to see what the best that he can do here for the time being. I apologize for the silence here for a moment. I was looking to see if there used to be a way. I might be a little confused here, but either way, I was looking to see if there was a way to show. Not sure if the Formula 3 cars use different tires or not. I want to say they do, but I could be wrong. I think they all use the same tire here. I don't think there's a tire difference, but either way, either how, tire management is going to be crucial here in this race. Everyone is going to be, well, trying to make sure that they're not scrubbing their tires as much as they can, because again, this is one of those tracks where overdriving a turn can definitely have some impact on some drivers, and I think already we've seen a little bit of that happen here tonight with some drivers getting a little loose here and there. Again, it's just one of those things. You can get perhaps a little bit too comfortable and think you can take a turn just a little bit faster, brake a little bit harder, and things just don't always go in your favor. But so far, for the majority of the field, everyone is still out, still racing. Not many drivers have taken it behind the wall. In fact, I think there's only, by my count, 3 drivers, perhaps 4 or 5 drivers that have taken it behind the wall here and have perhaps called it a night already. Early on in this session here, lap 7 of 28, still a ways to go before we're even in the halfway marker here for the feature event for round number 6, the League Zero Formula Series. A lot of action happening around the track, and frankly, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far. Everyone's trying their best to keep within arm's reach of one another, but it is one of those things, again, you have to stay on your marks 100% of the time, otherwise you can lose that time very, very quickly. This is one of those tracks where I think complacency is definitely an evil part of racing here. So we're back here currently with Peter Reidinger in the number 44 machine, currently sitting 17th with Xavier Sanave just ahead in that 12th place spot. Looking around the field here, seeing where other drivers are, where the other teams are, how everyone is doing thus far. Other drivers having not so great of luck here today, finding themselves getting a little bit off track and ultimately falling victim to a crash here at Okayama, and having to call it early. That's definitely not going to be a great feeling coming towards the end of the race here today. But let's take a look here and let's talk a little bit about last week's race at Hockenheim, where we saw Micah Barnett, Finley Fitzsimmons, and Reed Gibson take home first, second, and third place respectively for the feature race. And looking at the sprint, things were a little bit different with Flo Doms, Finley Fitzsimmons, and Reed Gibson taking first, second, and third for the sprint. So a little bit different outcomes for the sprint race, but ultimately it was a good day for Team Goon Squad, as well as TLDR Simsport and Team Runners Up, all able to come away with significant points for the Constructors Championship as well. Great work all around for all of those teams involved. And individually, Micah Barnett currently holds the lead for for the Drivers' Championship, currently sitting with 123 points. Reed Gibson, 117 points, and Finley Fitzsimmons sitting at 106 points at this moment. So Micah Barnett with Polo Rosso Racing, currently leading that championship, the Drivers' Championship at that. The Polo Rosso team currently holding on to third in the Constructors. And right now, does not seem that Micah Barnett and team are going to see quite as similar success as what they saw in last week's race at Hockenheim. Micah Barnett currently sitting in that fourth place spot, just behind Raymond Aguilar. Raymond Aguilar with Avanti Autosport, looking to have a good day for the team as well as for himself in the Drivers' Championship. Gonna look to secure as many points as possible. You see Micah Barnett there getting a little bit off track there into the grass. Well, not the grass, rather the gravel. Sand trap, if you will. And I gotta say, the runoffs here, most of the areas around here, around this track, are pretty forgiving when it comes to the runoffs. You're able to usually recover your car, unfortunately at the loss of quite a bit of time here, but that is the one, I think, quality about this track that makes it friendly to new drivers that, well, really just need seat time and don't want to have to deal with tracks with, well, more constrained limits, if you will. While this is all happening and we're starting to see a little bit of separation between the field here, we can see that on the left-hand side of your screens at this moment. And you can kind of get an idea of how this field is starting to slowly separate from one another. Everyone's starting to get a little bit of room between each other as tire wear starts to come into play pretty heavily here. The drivers start to experience the wear and tear of those tires and aren't able to turn the same laps that they were able to at the start of the race here as per usual. But what I want to do here for a moment is ride on board with one of our drivers. Let's actually take a ride on board here with Jake Duckwall here in the number 99 machine as we take a look through the visor camera here on the number 11, and we get a bird's eye view, a first-hand look at the inside. Ooh, a little bit of a, yep. And that's a prime example, folks, of what it's like to kind of, well, overdrive or turn a little bit. And I almost wonder here if Jake Duckwall might have, well, might have overheated those brakes just a little bit, and he's starting to get a lot of pressure here from John Kasai as well. Not an ideal situation here for Jake in the number 99, but for John Kasai, this might prove to be an opportunity to move even further up the grid here. As you'll remember, John Kasai, one of the movers and shakers here in tonight's race, able to move up 11 spots since we last spoke about him here into 13th place. And after that little bit of a hiccup here from the 99 machine, he might be able to move his way back up into 12th place here before too long. But as we're starting to dwindle down the laps here even further, one more lap to go and it'll be 10 laps left here before we see the checkered flag fly here for tonight's feature race. Will he have enough time? Will he have another opportunity to close the gap, close the distance between himself and more drivers in the field? Well, that remains to be seen. And I don't know, with the gap between Jake Duckwall and Mike Fairchild, which is rather significant, just over 4 seconds between them, it's tough to say. It's really tough to say. And even as we're starting to see more drivers get a little bit of distance separated between themselves outside of the top 5, we can really start to see where it can be, it's going to be quite the challenge to make up that time, given drivers are all going to be experiencing the same, well, relatively the same level of tire wear and fighting increasingly hotter tires and a warmer track. Speaking of warm, let's take a look and see what the weather is like here today at Okayama. 83 degrees Fahrenheit, and track temperatures looking to be about 105 at the moment. So I don't know if things are going to be, well, I mean, they're definitely not going to be ideal. Probably a little slick in certain areas of the track at the moment, but for the most part, we can even see that the track temperature goes down just a little bit here and there, but that is not exactly the only challenge that you have to look out for and be wary of. Checking back in with our leaders here now as well. As the tire wear starts to affect more of the drivers, more of the field, Raymond Aguilar starting to capitalize a little bit on that and close the distance between himself and Reed Gibson. As things are starting to get a little bit closer as time progresses on, will there be enough time to close the distance and make a pass happen here, or some kind of battle happen, remains to be seen. And ultimately, just being in the mirrors of that number 11 machine may pose the chance that Reed could make a mistake. He could get a little bit too, well, a little too wide on, let's say, a turn here. A little too hot on the brakes, trying to rotate the car, and ultimately spins himself. That's one way that things could happen here. But Reed Gibson, Raymond Aguilar, Finley Fitzsimmons, the top 3, and even Micah Barnett, Justin Sang, a lot of these guys have all done a great job here keeping themselves consistent and clean. While all of that happens, we have a driver down in pit road looking to get a fresh set of tires on that number 59 machine. That is Micah Barnett. Going to find himself down in the pits and heading into his stall at the moment. So will we start to see more of the field head down into the pits here before too long and get themselves a fresh set of tires? John Kasai is also coming into the pits here as well. And Micah Barnett's already back out onto field here. I'm going to look in. Ooh. Cold tires. Oh, cold tires always, kind of gets me as well when I'm in the middle of a race and I got to get back out on track and all I want to do is go fast. But I got to remind myself, cold tires are not always your friend, and they can be sometimes tricky to drive on. But Micah Barnett, experienced enough, knows what he's doing. He's going to keep himself rolling. So for Micah Barnett, he's done relatively well throughout this season here as we're taking a look at him here in the number 59 machine. Taking a look at kind of his record for this season. Hockenheim, he started the feature in 12th and finished 4th. started the... Nope, that is incorrect. He started the feature in 4th, finished 1st, started the sprint in 12th, and finished 4th there in Hockenheim. Brands Hatch, not quite the best race here for Micah here, as he started 6th in the feature, finished 2nd, which was a good turnout. The sprint race, however, started 11th and finished 17th. But we could go into all sorts of details there, but that's just a little bit of a look at Micah Barnett's history here in the past 2 races for the current season here with League 0. And so far, Micah Barnett again holds on to the Drivers' Championship lead and continues to do a phenomenal job here tonight. Here at Okayama might be a little bit of a different story for Micah Barnett, but continuing to do all that he can and try and secure the best spot that he can finish here tonight. But Reed Gibson, Justin Sang, both going to move their way down into the pits here as well, grab themselves a fresh set of Goodyears. Well, not Goodyears. Wow, I do too much NASCAR broadcasting. Anyway. So as Reed Gibson makes his way back out onto the track here, Antonio Bianchi going to be right hot on his heels. Like an angry bee here as well, just staying right on his tail. But as some of the field makes their way through pit road, the top 3 at the moment still have yet to make their way down into the pits, and Finley Fitzsimmons and Raymond Aguilar really are the 2 guys to look out for here at this moment, as they still have yet to come down through pits. And Finley Fitzsimmons looking at about a 5.5 second gap between himself and Raymond Aguilar. Raymond Aguilar to 3rd place is about, I believe, it's about an 8-second gap for that 2nd to 3rd place spot. So for Finley Fitzsimmons, there is a good chance that he could come away with this. I don't know if he's going to be able to finish the race in first, all things considered. Well, maybe there might be a slight chance here, as taking a look at things at the moment. Oh boy, someone just got way off track here. Jake Duckwall. The 99 machine. Finding those tires to be a little worse for wear at the moment, as he's yet to come into the pits here as well. Kevin Burrows as well as Jared Davis both make their way down into the pits now, as Nick Peterson, Max Wobbles, Raymond Aguilar, Finley Fitzsimmons, those are your top 4 here at the moment. None of them showing any signs of moving into pit road yet, but that could change here, as Finley Fitzsimmons after this lap is going to be pushing 20 laps on the same set of tires, albeit still staying consistent and showing a lot of talent, a lot of experience, being able to stay out on the same set here and remain consistent. Definitely not an easy thing to do and takes time to perfect, but Finley doing a great job here, keeping himself out in the lead in nearly a 6-second gap between himself and Raymond Aguilar, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down here either. And he's going to pass by pit road and keep on going here. Will that be the same for Raymond Aguilar? It is indeed. Max Wobbles, Nick Peterson, they're both going to pass pit road here as well. They're going to stay out on the same set. Oh, and I do take that back. That was not Nick Peterson who Max Wobbles was racing with, but this is Nick Peterson here in the number 24 machine, currently finding himself in that 4th place spot. An ideal situation to be in here at this moment, especially knowing, well, maybe not so ideal, knowing that you still have to come down into pits, but we'll see how much that affects the field here and how that's going to shuffle drivers around, given there's only 7 laps left to go. I almost want to say that Finley might try and take it all the way to the end here on the same set of tires. I wouldn't put it past him. Jeff wouldn't put it past him. So I take that back. Finley's coming down into the pits here, going to grab himself a fresh set of tires, as well as Raymond Aguilar following the same cue as well. Max Wobbles taking the same cue, and Nick Peterson, Michael Fairchild. Nope, Peterson's in as well. Let's see if Fairchild also does the same here. He does not. He's going to stay out another lap here. Peter Reidinger and Xavier Zanave all remain to go down into the pits and grab themselves a fresh set of tires. Here as Raymond Aguilar makes his way back out onto the track here, just ahead of Reed Gibson. They're now going to battle for that 3rd place spot. A podium finish here for Raymond would prove quite nice. Here for Avanti Autosport for both the Drivers' Championship as well as the Constructors. So Raymond looking to secure that podium as best as he can, and Michael Fairchild, again, he's still got to come down into the pits. He has not come down yet. As you can see here on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see how many drivers have taken their stops and how many haven't. And Fairchild, the only one remaining that needs to come in and grab a fresh set of tires before the race is all said and done here. And there he does. 2nd lap around. Finley Fitzsimmons still holding on to the lead. Raymond Aguilar, Reed Gibson able to close the gap just a little bit to Finley, but not quite as close as they probably would hope or want to. But still, with just about 5 laps left to go here, I don't think they could really ask for too much here at a track like Okayama, where there's not a whole lot of opportunities to really slow these cars down, and other than for the kind of middle section, if you will, that's really the only place where these cars truly slow down enough to kind of close the gap a little bit, but not by much. Otherwise, it's mostly full throttle, pedal to the metal throughout most of this track. Well, we have a little bit of time here, and just a few laps left before we see the white and the checkered flag fly here. Let's take one last ride on board here with Kevin Burrows here from the helmet camera of the number 23 driver. Just get a lap on board here at Okayama International Circuit. A little bit of a lockup there from Max Wobbles. He's seen from the front right, I believe. Wobbles able to recover from that one, keep himself in that 6th place spot, but that is the exact kind of mistake that you want to look out for. You want to try and avoid as a driver, as difficult as it can be sometimes. Oh boy, Justin Sang. Trouble here for the 68 driver. Great recovery, hopefully doesn't have any suspension issues from that. Hopefully there was no contact. I didn't quite catch if there was any contact with the wall there or anything like that, but it seemed like he got away from that relatively okay, relatively clean. He's going to keep on racing here in the number 68 machine, but so far so good here for Justin Sang. Raymond Aguilar continues to see pressure from Reed Gibson in the number 11. Just under a half a second separating these two drivers. Reed Gibson trying all that he can to stay right on the tail here. You can see that here from the number 11 driver. We're riding on the front wing camera. A little bit of a different perspective that we get. Oh boy, big lockup. Well, not necessarily a big lockup, but a little small guy lockup from Raymond. That's going to allow Reed to catch up just even slightly more, but not quite enough to get himself in a position to make a pass here. He's going to have to really hope that Raymond is going to make a couple more of those mistakes, or just one really big mistake, to be able to move up even further in the top 3. But I, necessarily wouldn't be upset with a 3rd place finish here with only a lap left to go, given that it is lap 27 at the moment. Next time around, I believe the white flag is going to fly, and we will determine a winner here today for the feature race and get ourselves set up and ready moving into the sprint here tonight. Even got a little bit of battles happening here just ahead of these drivers here with Jaden Calloway and Felipe Ramos. Jaden able to get onto the inside. They make contact with the wheels. Jaden able to escape from that one. Felipe probably going to be cursing under his breath here about that one. That's definitely not something you want to have happen here on the track, but here we go. Reed Gibson, Raymond Aguilar, both side by side here, both duking it out for that 2nd place spot. We got someone in the wall there. I'm not sure who that was. It was either Nick Terrell or Jack Mundy. One of those two drivers back there in the grass, but Gibson, Aguilar. Gibson's going to be ahead here as they come out of the final turn on turn 11 and across the checkered line. Gibson breaks up the air behind him, not allowing Aguilar to catch up to him and reel him in here. And I was mistaken. I thought the checkered flag was out for some reason, but it's only the white flag. So we keep racing for one more lap. I got a little excited there for a second. But that's a good thing. We have more racing to watch here, so that's a fantastic thing. I love that. And we have the sprint race to look forward to, so stay tuned, folks. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you get yourselves ready for the next session of tonight's race. I gotta say, it's gonna be a fun one. As Reed Gibson continues to stay right on the tail here. Or excuse me, Aguilar continues to stay on the tail of Gibson, and we're taking a look here out of the rear camera. Oh boy, Felipe Ramos finds himself in a little bit of a kerfluffle. Across the checkered line, we take it here. Finley Fitzsimmons, Reed Gibson, Raymond Aguilar going to take the top 3 for our feature here tonight. So let's take a look at our post-race results here for the feature event. If we are able to here, we might not be able to at the moment, but that's a, no, there we go. There it is. So Finley Fitzsimmons taking home that win here tonight. Reed Gibson and Raymond Aguilar going to be taking second and third. And while that happens here, while drivers have a little bit of a warm-up session, we're going to go ahead and interview our top 3 from the feature, starting with Ray Aguilar in third place. Ray, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your third place finish here tonight. Got to be a good time for both yourself and team. Excuse me. Oh, boy. I lost where you were.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Did great. We, I don't know, had to really control the tire temps the whole time. And right at the end there, I pushed a little too hard. Made them real slimy and cost me second place.
You know, it's a tough break here tonight. But, you know, Okayama, I feel, is just one of those tracks where it can really make or break you. When you have... Well, I guess the best way to put it is it can definitely you can overestimate it, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, with these tires on this track, it's such a small one. Normally on the bigger tracks, right, you get some slide and then you got a big long section before you have to use them again. But here it's so tight, you know, by the time with this setup especially, it's so tight by the time you get off or get offline, get a good slide in, you get to the next corner, they're still cooling down. So it builds really quickly. You got to really watch them. And if you watch, Reed was behind. It looked like he was slowing down like he had damage. He was just cooling them off. And fortunately, he did it earlier than I did, and that led to his tires were much better at the end.
Well, Ray, I got to say, you did fantastic here in the feature. What are you expecting heading into the sprint now that you've got 28 laps under your belt? What are you expecting here going into the sprint?
I'm just going to I'm going to try to dodge bullets. I'm going to try to get a decent start and just hold a defensive line. If you can make it through the first lap, I think everything else clears up. It's just that first one that's everybody shooting for.
Absolutely. Well, Ray, it was a great time talking to you here. Is anyone you want to quickly shout out or thank before I let you go here and get to your get to practice here?
Yeah, my teammate was a huge help this week, helped me practice and get ready for the race. I want to thank my wife for being there and supporting me, and I want to thank you for jumping in here what appears to be last minute and holding down the fort, Mason. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I always appreciate being here. I love seeing you guys put on these events. So it's great to be here in place of James and hopefully putting on a decent show for you guys.
Yep. Thanks so much, man.
Absolutely. You have a good one. All right, moving on into second place is Reed Gibson, taking home second here tonight. Reed, welcome to the booth, and congratulations on that second place finish here for the feature. Right off the rip here, what's kind of your thoughts on your feature start here, and what are you expecting going into the sprint here?
Yeah, you know, the feature, my strategy didn't quite work out. Got a little unlucky with the undercut and had a couple incidents that I had to avoid, so it's disappointing there, but I was able to fight it and win it on track, so it's almost more satisfying in that way to hold on to P2, so I'm pretty happy.
Well, Reed, with all of that in mind here, hopefully we get to see you back up here on the podium once again for the sprint here. But before I let you go and get back to practicing, anyone you want to shout out or thank before I let you go here?
Yeah, just thanks to my teammate. Justin did a good job. Didn't have the best race, but did a good job persevering, so definitely a tough track, and props to Ray Aguilar. It was a really good battle. We kept it very clean, so I really enjoyed that.
Absolutely. Well, Reed, it was a pleasure having you up here in the booth, and I look forward to seeing you back out on track. And again, hopefully we get to talk to you again here before the night's over and see you back up in the top three for the sprint race tonight.
All right, I hope so too.
All right, you have a great one.
All right, thanks.
Last and certainly is not going to be least here, Finley Fitzsimmons taking home the win here for the feature race. Finley, welcome to the booth, buddy. It's been quite some time. Well, Finley, I'm going to ask you right off the rip here. You were doing extremely well here tonight. You just had this track locked down tight, not making really any mistakes here, and really pushing those tires as much as you possibly could, staying out until I think it was about 7 laps left to go before officially coming down into the pits, grabbing a fresh set of tires. You looked experienced. You looked like you had practiced a lot here this weekend, if you even had any practice before going into tonight's race. But Finley, I mean, what's kind of your thoughts, and walk me through your feature.
Yeah, it was quite a lucky race, to be fair. I got quite lucky with some lap cars, because I know after I passed them, they caused issues for the cars behind. And with the battles going on as well, it just gave me the opportunity to stretch out a gap, and I used that to manage the tyres and stay as consistent as possible. That's pretty much it, really.
Yeah, that was a big thing that I was talking about during the broadcast. Consistency playing a huge part here at Okayama. Not necessarily a difficult track in the sense that there's a lot of turns and this and that, but it is one that you have to, again, stay consistent and keep that same pace throughout the entirety of the race here. But, I mean, Finley, you did an impressive job here in the feature. I'm sure that we're expecting a lot of the same here going into the sprint race. I mean, what's kind of your thoughts here, talking a little bit outside of the race here, big picture, Drivers' Championship, Constructors' Championship, what are you looking to achieve and accomplish here for this season of the League Zero Formula Series?
Obviously, the double driver championship will be quite nice, but that's not what I really want to focus on, to be fair. I just want to focus on race by race, just maximising it, because if we start thinking of the wider championship, it starts to mess with your decisions a little bit. Team championship as well is quite close, but with Gareth missing and David subbing in for the next 3 weeks, we'll have to see how that plays out in the next few races.
Well, Finley, you look confident out here tonight. You're doing a phenomenal job for both yourself and for the Team Goon Squad. It's really great to see out here and just crushing tonight's race, but still got one more race left to go here. I believe it's 14 laps, if I'm not mistaken, 13, 14, something like that. But Finley, I'm going to let you go and get back to practice here with what little time that we have left here. But before you head out, anyone you want to shout out, thank, before you head out and get back to practice?
Of course, teammate Gareth, unfortunately, of course, he couldn't be here this week, and massive thanks to David for stepping in for the team points. Of course, Team Good Squad, you up in the booth, Mason. It's great to have you subbing in, because James can't make it. That's really nice of you. We appreciate it a lot. Of course, the league owners as well, and the stewards putting on a great show.
Absolutely. It's great to be here. Frankly, I'm excited to be here. This is, again, this is the premier Formula 3 series, so it's great to see a bunch of drivers, a bunch of talented drivers all come together, and great to have one of our own leading the field for once. But thank you, Finley, for joining me up here tonight, and hopefully get to talk to you again before the night's over.
Yeah, hopefully, Mason. Fingers crossed.
Yep, have a good one.
See ya.
Alrighty, folks, that was Finley Fitzsimmons out of the booth here, taking home the win for the feature race here tonight. But there is still one race left to go here. That is the sprint. And just double checking my 14 laps. It is indeed 14 laps here today. So we have just a few more minutes left before we move on into that sprint race here. So just getting drivers a little bit of extra seat time, a little bit of extra laps here before they move on into the sprint race. Maybe correct a couple errors that they may or may not have had in the feature, and just trying to work out any bugs, anything that they want to try and correct for the sprint, and hopefully give themselves a better run. But while we have a little bit of time here, we're going to go ahead and take a very quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will have the starting lineup here for the sprint race. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, because we will be back for more of the League Zero Formula Series here at Okayama International Circuit for round number 6 here with League Zero. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere, folks, and we'll be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Alrighty, folks, so as we have our starting lineup ready for our sprint race here tonight, John Kasai, Michael Fairchild going to be up in the front row, Antonio Bianchi, Max Wobbles taking up second row, Jared Davis, Nick Peterson in our third row, Justin Sang, Kevin Burrows in our fourth row, Micah Barnett, Raymond Aguilar taking up the fifth row here with Reed Gibson and Finley Fitzsimmons in our sixth row. Moving on down the lineup here, Flo Doms and Felipe Sarkis taking up seventh row here, Peter Reidinger, Xavier Sanave taking up the eighth row. Ninth row is Jaden Calloway and Felipe Ramos. 10th row, Jay Burton and David Schmidt. 11th row is Jack Mundy and Nick Terrell. 12th row is Jake Duckwall and Brad Tritton. And just a few more drivers left here. Donovan Johnson, Jared Ziegler, and Ryan Thibault. I don't think Ryan is actually starting the race here, but the lights are out. And away we go here once again. What a view that we have of the field as they make their way through turns 1. The midfield and beyond a little bit tight there as they make their way, but so far so good. 3 wide action happening here as they make their way through kind of the elongated S's, if you will. Big braking zone here as they make their way through, I believe, turn 4. Multiple drivers off track here towards the back, and there's multiple. Oh boy, the yellow flag is out, and necessarily so, because wow. multiple drivers getting off track here. Here we see Peter Reidinger. If we can get a camera on him. Getting off track into the wall, and there goes another driver. 2 drivers. All finding themselves getting involved in this mix-up here. And wow. It's one of those situations, folks, where it can go from bad to worse in a matter of seconds. And that's exactly what just happened there. I wish we had some better camera angles on that, but wow. We could see how bunched up the field was during that situation. And frankly, when you're 3 or even, it almost seemed like there was 4 wide through turn 4. Definitely not an ideal situation. That's definitely cause for some trouble. I would have to imagine, but who knows? So the field's going to have some time here to work their way through pit, well, not through pit road, but to pace behind the pace car here. So while we still have a bit of time here to work with, Michael Fairchild, Max Wobbles, Antonio Bianchi, Jared Davis, Nick Peterson, and Justin Sang are going to take up our top 3 rows here today for this restart. Lap 3 of 14 here in the sprint of round number 6 of the League Zero Formula Series. I want to thank everyone who's been tuning in here tonight, hopefully been enjoying the show here as, well, the normal host, the usual host here for the League Zero Formula Series, James East, my good friend, esteemed colleague. Not able to be here tonight, but luckily you guys got me, and hopefully Budget James is good enough for you guys. little bit of a confusion here, it looks like, as the field gets themselves sorted back out, it looks like. All right, safety car is back in. And away we go here once more. Lap 3 of 14 as we cross the line. It is lap 4. Michael Fairchild, Max Wobbles, both going to take the lead going into turn number 1. Everyone stacked up single file for the most part as we look a little bit further back and beyond. Some drivers getting a little bit separated from the front of the field, but Michael Fairchild, Max Wobbles going to be nearly side by side there for a moment. Wobbles going to try and take the inside line here. He's successful in doing so. Wobbles going to be left out hung to dry as Wobbles takes away the lead here. Oh, contact from the wheels of the 13 machine, moving him over to the side. Not sure if that was quite deliberate or just unseen as, oh boy, heading through turn 5. Things getting rather dicey here for these drivers. Everyone trying to keep everything as clean as possible, but drivers all bunched up here in the top 6 at the moment. So we get a good look of them heading down into turn number 7. Or excuse me, turn 8. Wobble's going to retain his lead at the moment, but for how long remains the question. As everyone is right hot on his head. Ooh, some drivers getting a little bit off track there. It looks to be Antonio Bianchi, the number 17 driver. Going to be the one to suffer the most from that one, dropping down a position or 2. I'm not sure if that, I think that was just one position here for Antonio, but ultimately able to keep himself up into that 4th place spot, and I believe Raymond Aguilar, his teammate, going to be there to assist in this situation here as well. So it looks to be Raymond's going to move over for Antonio, let him move up into, or excuse me, Raymond is going to move up into that 4th place spot and continue the charge here just behind them. Nick Peterson, Reed Gibson, if I can speak words. Both going to be side by side here. Oh boy, multiple lockups happening in front of them. No one losing control of their car. Everyone keeping everything green and clean here thus far. Riding on board here with Jack Mundy in the number 14 machine. One of the high movers here in today's race. Currently up 10 spots, sitting in 11th from where he started here tonight. So Mundy, oh boy, oh boy. Finley Fitzsimmons the feature winner, not having the best. Oh boy, he's going to take it behind the pits here, going to take the tow penalty, and that is going to, I believe, put him out of the sprint here tonight. If not for the entirety of the race, but for positions in the very least, he is definitely not going to be fighting for anything at this point. What an unfortunate end here for Finley Fitzsimmons and Team Goon Squad, as that is going to be the end of their run here today, I believe, unless there is another driver here present that is... Nope. So Max Wobbles, Michael Fairchild, Jared Davis, all in our top 3. So we're going to get a little bit of a ride on board here with Raymond Aguilar. And let's go ahead and have a listen to the sights and sounds here while there's a little bit of a battle forming up here in the top 3. Jared Davis starting to see himself closing in on Michael Fairchild here for that third place position. And Jared Davis, I gotta say, has been looking pretty impressive so far, staying as close as he can to Fairchild. With just about 5 laps left to go. This is, well, this is about as ideal of a situation you can put yourself in. And hopefully Jared Davis will be able to capitalize on this. Side by side between the two as they make their way through turns 5 through 7. Davis still going to stay out on top of this one, though. Or Fairchild, rather, is going to stay out on top of it as Davis continues to trail behind in that third place spot, but for Wobbles, Fairchild, and Davis, all three of them going to be looking to secure a podium here tonight, and quite frankly might just be able to do so here given their consistency. And with only 4 laps left to go, I think they might be able to just pull that off here. Raymond Aguilar, meanwhile, looking to move up just another position if he also possibly can here. Nick Peterson going to fall down into 5th place here as the 72 machine moves his way up into 4th place. Raymond here showing his speed in that number 72 and trying to do all that he can to keep up with the field. You can see Peterson trying to stay right behind, keep that nose just tucked in behind the 72. Utilizing that air, utilizing that draft as best as he can. Jake Duckwall here in the number 99 machine, just behind Felipe Sarkis. In the number 4, Jake Duckwall, amongst one of the highest movers here as well, up 14 spots, sitting in 9th place at the moment. But the real mover and shaker here tonight, Jared Ziegler, here in the 57, up 19 spots, moved all the way up into 7th place here today. Going to be a good run here for Ziegler, and frankly, quite an astonishing amount of positions to move through in such a short period of time. But great work here for Ziegler in the 57 team. Lap 11 of 14, time is dwindling down here, but Max Wobbles, our current leader, does not have quite much to worry about as he sits with a 2-second lead, and Fairchild and Davis continue to have a relative battle up there in 2nd and 3rd place. Wobble's going to be able to use that to his advantage here and continue on his trek across the finish line here, as there's just about 3 laps left to go here tonight. And again, I want to thank every single one of you who is tuned in today to show support for your favorite driver, favorite league, whatever it happens to be. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for showing your support. Without all of you tuning in and, well, doing what you do by showing up every week and watching these shows and, again, showing your support for the league, for the races, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to do this every week in and week out. So to all of you, thank you. I truly appreciate it. You guys, well, maybe not you folks watching specifically, but for those of you that have been around for a while, have been watching the Team Goon Squad channel, well, this has been quite the fun hobby that I like to take part in, and it's definitely been a great thing to be a part of, and hopefully I am able to provide entertainment for those of you who do tune in and watch these races. So on that note, thank you all. And let's continue on with the final, I think is going to be 2 laps of the race here. As we've crossed the line, it's 13 of 14. So yeah, I think next time by we'll see the white flag fly. And this will be the last couple laps that we have here. With Fairchild and Davis both fighting tooth and nail for this 2nd place spot. Davis trying to give everything that he's got here. Let's take a ride on board here with Davis from the helmet camera as they head their way into the hairpin of turn 5. They're almost going to touch wheels with one another. Able to quickly separate from that here, but they're going to have one more opportunity once they've come across the line here. But Fairchild able to retain his second place spot here at the moment. They're both able to reduce the gap between themselves and Max Wobble to just under 2 seconds, when before it was just about 3 seconds between them. So while sometimes drivers battling with each other's sometimes slow them down, for these two it seems to be quite the opposite. They seem to be going faster. Micah Barnett, Felipe Sarkis, or Jared Ziegler rather, oh boy, through the hairpin. Ziegler going to be the one out on top of that battle there. It's now Fairchild and Davis. Wobbles makes their way through the final few turns here. Wobble's going to make his way through the final turn. Nice and clean, smooth as can be. And takes it across the line here for the win of the sprint race here tonight at Okayama International Circuit. Fairchild coming across the line for second. Jared Davis in third. Raymond Aguilar close behind in that fourth place spot. Nick Peterson, Jared Ziegler going to be fourth and fifth. Or fifth and sixth, excuse me. Right, as the rest of the field makes their way across the line and concludes tonight's race, we're going to take a look at the post-race results here and get ourselves ready for post-race interviews. Going through our finishing order, though, Max Wobbles in first, Michael Fairchild in second, Jared Davis in third, Raymond Aguilar in fourth, Nick Peterson in fifth, Jared Ziegler taking home sixth, Micah Barnett in seventh, Felipe Sarkis in eighth, Jack Mundy taking ninth place here today, John Kasai in 10th, Kevin Burrows in 11th, Jake Duckwall in 12th, Felipe Ramos in 13th, Reed Gibson in 14th, Nick Terrell in 15th, Jay Burton 16th, Antonio Bianchi in 17th, Finley Fitzsimmons finishing with an unfortunate 18th here tonight. Moving ourselves down the line, Justin Sang in 19th, Flo Doms in 20th, Peter Reidinger in 21st, Xavier Sinave in 22nd, Jaden Calloway in 23rd, David Schmidt in 24th, Brad Tritton in 25th, Donovan Johnson in 26th, and Ryan Thibault in 27th. And currently at the moment, we only have one driver present for post-race interview, so I think we might only be talking to one person here tonight for our sprint interviews, but that's going to have to do. Nope, never mind. Okay, we got more than one. Cool. We're going to start with the first one that we have up is going to be Michael Fairchild, taking home second place here tonight in the number 88 machine. Michael, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your second place finish here tonight. Woo! It's got to be quite a feeling. That good whoop is that's a good sound to hear. Yeah. Michael, what a race that you had here tonight. I mean, I'm sure you probably got a lot of emotions flowing through you at the moment, but Michael, I'm going to let you talk here. How was your sprint race? Walk us through it, and what could have gone better? What could have gone worse? Take us through it, man.
Man, I am just so sweaty here in Japan. It's like hot, so the track is slidey, and then my cockpit, of course, doesn't have air conditioning, so just sweating over here right from the start, knowing that Max has a kind of a reputation for being kind of Max Verstappen, but he kept it clean. And I made some early mistakes in the stint that got him ahead of me. I feel like I could have caught him, but I was defending so much from behind that I kept losing that time. But I'm glad I got able to keep that P2.
Absolutely. It's always a great feeling to be on the podium, and taking away a second place is going to be a great thing for not only yourself in the Drivers' Championship, but as well in the Constructors as well for your team. So great moves all around here in the sprint race. Michael, what do you look forward to going into next race and hoping to kind of carry that momentum forward moving on?
I've had a bad habit in the features of losing concentration, spinning it, doing something to push my pace, and I lose out on points. So that's my goal in the features, is to keep some steady points for our team each and every week. That way, even if I'm P10, 11, 12, with that sprint, I'm in the front. So it makes it for a real fun sprint race.
Absolutely. Well, Michael, hopefully after tonight at Japan, moving on to Silverstone bodes a little bit of a different result in your feature race performance, but otherwise it seems like you've got your sprint performance down here, as that third place finish is definitely nothing, or second place finish, excuse me, I was going to say podium finish, is nothing to shy away from. But Michael, hopefully we get to see more success from you and the 88 machine and carry that forward going into Silverstone.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, though, anyone you want to shout out and thank before you head out and celebrate with your fellow drivers and teammates?
Yeah, I'd like to just thank whoever caused the pace car in the back. That was fun to get my nerves settled down, to keep us going. And then for Max for keeping it clean, and then my family for letting me race tonight.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me up here in the booth, Michael. It was great to have you. And although it won't be me the next time you get to be up here in the booth, but it was great seeing you, and I hope to be able to talk to you guys again in the future.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great one. Alrighty, folks, that was Michael Fairchild taking home second place here tonight. And last and certainly is not going to be least here, Max Wobbles, or as, competitors have eloquently named him, the Max Verstappen here of the League Zero Series. Max, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your win here in the Sprint Series. Just talking to Michael here a little bit, Michael mentioned that you tend to have the consistency of the current Formula One world champion. Now, what was it like kind of, carrying that from the feature moving into the sprint race? Did you, kind of expect that you would perform better going into the sprint? What was kind of your thought process tonight throughout tonight's races?
Yeah, I mean, just ended up being fortunate. I ended up running out of fuel in the feature race, so it put me in a decent spot to start the sprint here. And yeah, I mean, after the caution, we were able to get ahead and then just kind of cruise control all the way through. So didn't have to push too hard, which was nice. So yeah, I mean, just a uneventful race after the safety car.
Yeah, and sometimes sometimes the best kind of race to have when you're in the top three is, one of those uneventful races where not a whole lot is happening around you. Albeit it makes for a relatively, let's say lackluster race when you're looking for a little bit of extra competition. But I would say if you're in the neighborhood or in the shopping for points, if you'd like to call it that, I think tonight is one of the ways to do it best. But Max, I mean, just talking to Michael a little bit as well, looking forward into next race at Silverstone. What's kind of your expectations there? Do you hope to perform as well, or are you hoping to kind of push that bar a little bit higher and set expectations just a little bit higher than what you saw here tonight?
I would hope to do well, but I'm sure to do not well. I am not very good at Silverstone, so my hopes are very low there, but we will try our best.
Well, Max, I love to hear it. I love to see you out here tonight. You did a fantastic job here in the sprint as well as in the feature race. It was great to get to talk to you here tonight, albeit it's probably going to be the only time that we get to talk to each other, given this is just me filling in. But Max, before I let you go, before you celebrate with your fellow teammates and as well as competitors, is anyone you out there that you want to shout out and thank before you go here tonight?
Just shout out to all my chicken house homies. They definitely helped get the practice in on this track so that we could, have a good result here. So yeah, shout out to all those guys.
Absolutely. Well, thank you once again, Max, for joining me up here in the booth. It was an absolute pleasure to have you here tonight, and hopefully get to see you perform well again in the future. And maybe perhaps one day I'll be back here in the booth and get to talk to you again in the future. But for now, Max, it's great to see you, and good luck to you in next week's race, or I believe it's next week's race at Silverstone.
Right on. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Have a great one, Max. All righty, folks. It is that time, the time of the hour where we wrap things up and conclude tonight's show. I want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in and joining me tonight here. Again, my name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight for League 0, round number 6 at Okayama International Circuit. It was a pleasure to be here. I hope that everyone enjoyed what they saw and enjoyed the racing here tonight. It was a lot of great action, and I personally had fun. Hopefully everyone else kind of got a little bit of excitement watching from home. But on that note, thank you all for tuning in and watching. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked the video or the broadcast already, please do so. It helps us tremendously. We're just letting us know that we're doing a good job, and to help us continue to improve our craft and to allow us to bring better and better shows week in and week out. So without you guys, this all wouldn't be possible. So thank you all for tuning in every single week and showing your support. On that note, again, my name is Mason Heimball, bringing you the action on behalf of James East and as well as Team Goon Squad. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all at the next race, same time, same place at Silverstone for the Silverstone Grand Prix. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.